Barakata Yahweh, Barakata Yahushai, by Yishim, Barakah Kodash, Barakatum. First and foremost, I want to give all praises, glory, and infinite honors to Yahweh by Yishim Yahushai. Double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone who ruled and teach well. And peace and salutations to Akim out there pushing this word in truth and sincerity to the four corners of the globe. May you brothers endure until the end. This is the brother Raya with another video, and I'm going to start it off with Ezekiel 35 verse 1. Moreover, the word of Yahweh came unto me, saying, Son of man, set thy face against Mount Seir, and prophesy against it. And Mount Seir was the original dwelling place of the Edomites, or so-called white people. And just as Jerusalem is a people before it's a place, Seir is a people before it's a place. So Seir is synonymous with Esau, Edom. Now I'm going to jump down to verse 5. Because thou hast had a perpetual hatred, or a never-ending hatred, and has shed the blood of the children of Israel, you so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans, by the force of the sword, in the time of their calamity, in the time that their iniquity had an end. And what I want to focus on is where it says that Esau, Edom, has had a perpetual hatred for the children of Israel. That's what you Israelites don't understand. No matter what you do, it's in these Edomites' spirit to hate you and want to put you to death. No matter how much cooning you do on the job, no matter how many good white friends you have, no matter how much protesting you do, or no matter how many white rods you Israelite women blow, these Edomites are still going to have that hatred. And it all goes back to the fact that Jacob got the blessing and the birthright to the kingdom of heaven from Esau, as it says in Genesis 27, verse 41. And Esau hated Jacob because of the blessing wherewith his father blessed him. And Esau said in his heart or his mind, the days of mourning for my father are at hand. Then will I slay my brother Jacob. And they have that sentiment, that perpetual hatred up until this very day. And it's not based on skin color either, because you have some Edomites that look like so-called black people in these other nations, as well as some Israelites that look like so-called white people. And I've got a few articles from a website called the Atlanta Black Star that illustrate this perpetual hatred that Esau Edom has towards you Israelites. And we just got out of the Purim, which is a high holy day to celebrate how Israel was saved out of the hands of Haman the Agagite, or the Edomite, who wanted to put all Israel to death. And very shortly, there's about to be a vicious, violent, and bloody race war in not only the United States of America, but across the entire planet, where these Edomites are going to come in that same spirit of Haman to try to put all you Israelites to death. Which is why now more than ever, you sincere Israelites should be doing anything you can to get into the good graces of your power, Yahweh by Yishim Yahushai, so you can hopefully be of the elect and have that protective hedge of Yahweh by Yishim Yahushai over you when Jacob's trouble really pops off and these race wars get really heated. But my first article on AtlantaBlackStar.com is titled, Greek Woman Who Hurled Racial Epithets and Rocks at Two So-Called Black Women Reportedly Prayed for the Most High to Kill Them. The days of mourning for my father are at hand, then will I slay my brother Jacob. A woman has been charged with a hate crime in connection to an incident where she threw rocks at two women for being so-called black. The May conflict was reported by KVVU Wednesday after the outlet obtained a police report from the Las Vegas Metropolitan Police. Atlanta Black Star has contacted the department to obtain the arrest report for 52-year-old Elaine Mitchell, who is listed as Greek in the report, according to KVVU. And here she is right here. Hey, a perfect example on how this isn't based on skin color. If you saw this woman walking in the street, you'd probably think she was a so-called Arab or an Ishmaelite, but her spirit clearly shows that she's an Edomite. According to the news outlet, police were called to the May 13th fight between 6 to 7 women. Everyone involved is reported to have scattered when authorities arrived on the scene, and 2 victims were identified as so-called black women, LVMP stated. Additionally, the 2 so-called black women, I'll just say Israelite from now on, informed the police that Mitchell threw rocks at them and ordered them to leave as she hurled racial slurs at their way. The exact slurs were not reported by KBVU, but they were shouted during and after the altercation. And it doesn't take a imagination to think about what those slurs were. Mitchell is reported to have used the epithets even as she stood in front of a patrol car. KVVU also reported police said Mitchell started to pray and was asking God to kill the two women. Additionally, the report stated Mitchell said because the victims are Israelites, they could not afford her because they are broke minorities, the report said. It is not known exactly when the incident took place, as that detail was not included on the report. However, KVVU reported that the court records show Mitchell has been barred from casino slot machine chain Dottie's on East Flamingo Road as a stipulation of her bail. Mitchell's next court date is scheduled for June 18th. The incident involving Mitchell follows another hate crime episode in Oregon where 64-year-old Edomite Michael James Black was charged with a hate crime. The charges came after he shouted threats and hurled a racial slur at an Israelite 14-year-old on May 10th. He called him a racial slur, I wonder which one it was, and said he was going to blow his head off, said Grisham, police spokesman Ben Costigan, according to Oregon Live. And you Edomites are natural cowards. You pick on the women and children, and if you got to go against the Israelite man, you're coming with your blessing, the sword, that gun. Black has been charged with second-degree intimidation and menacing in Grisham, a suburb of Portland, Oregon. And Oregon has a high number of white supremacists and neo-Nazis. The verbal assault came after the teen rode his bike home from basketball practice and took a moment to ride in circles in a cul-de-sac as he waited for his friends, who had been walking from practice, to catch up to him. Fearing he'd get shot, the teen rode his bike home and informed his mother. That's when police were called. Now I'm going to go to my second article. White woman, or Edomite woman, who promptly lost her job after threatening to kill ends in unhinged rant at CVS, escapes criminal charges. An Edomite woman who went on a disgustingly racist rant replete with F-bombs and threats to kill ends outside a CVS pharmacy store in Los Angeles won't face criminal charges. Heather Lynn Patton was unhinged, jumped up and down and shouting the N-word nearly a dozen times in a bizarre blow-up caught on video last year. A hate incident report was taken, and the LA City Attorney's Office evaluated the threats, only to let Patton off the hook, TMZ reported. Play that video last. According to the outlet, Los Angeles police launched an investigation into the incident after the disgraced costume designer was filmed walking into the neighborhood pharmacy and spewing racist vitriol. The case was then handed to the LA County's DA's office for charge consideration before being bumped down to the city attorney's office. Officials there have declined to prosecute Patton, 49, in the incident. Video of the rant went viral last September when customers recorded her using the N-word and threatening, if the law didn't say I couldn't kill ends, they'd all be dead. That perpetual hatred to slay Israel with the force of the sword. The days of mourning for my father at hand. Then will I kill my brother Jacob. I hate ends, she also heard shouting in the video. Heather Lynn Patton was shown on video shouting the N-word nearly a dozen times and threatening to kill Israelite people September 24th at Los Angeles CVS. Patton would later issue a lengthy apology following the backlash from the Hollywood TV and film community, with critics blasting her on social media and posting her home address online. The former costumer, who's worked on shows such as ABC's Private Practice, was also canned over the incident. So you can see this was an Edomite who's higher up in society. These Edomites at all levels, in the lower class, middle class, and upper class, have that perpetual hate towards you Jakes. I have lost my job, which I totally would agree on, as well for the reason I have been let go, she wrote, blaming her behavior on being drunk. Hey, when people get drunk, their true emotions come out. And I'm sure you Jakes have been around Edomites who, when they've had a few drinks, give their true opinions on so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans. Please allow me to rekindle the love we shall all share amongst each other. Crocodile tears, as it says in Sirach chapter 12. Never trust thine enemy. As iron rusteth, so is his wickedness. Who shall pity the charmer that is bitten by the serpent? Israelites, help build this country that I am living in, and I hate that I insulted the millions of them, Patton continued, adding, I'll no longer ask for forgiveness because what I did as a human was very inhumane and disgusting, and you Edomites are inhumane and disgusting. Now let's play this video to see this perpetual sentiment of Esau towards Jacob.
A graduate degree is...
Of course.
I hate niggers!
Yeah, she's on drugs or something. No, I just hate niggers.
She's in her right mind.
You niggers! I hate niggers! It's okay, we're calling the cops on you because you're disturbing everyone. I would kill a nigger, but the law says I can't kill the niggers. If the law didn't say that I couldn't kill the niggers, they'd all be dead. Here's my license plate number. Nigger! 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 Nigger!
But wait, there's more. Illinois woman faces hate crime charges following unprovoked attack of Israelite woman exiting banquet hall. An Illinois Edomite woman found herself in police custody last week after physically attacking an Israelite woman outside a crowded banquet hall and yelling racial slurs, authority says. So it's going on all across the country, in Oregon, California, Illinois, you name it. Sarah Benain, 25, faces a hate crime and aggravated assault charge in the incident that unfolded at Denolfo's banquet in Homer Glen, Illinois on Saturday. According to Will County's Sheriff Office spokeswoman Kathy Hoffmeyer, an off-duty deputy responded to reports of a fight outside the building to find an unruly Benain pummeling the victim. Here's the man and woman of the hour right here. Esau Edom. Police said the suspect had her legs wrapped around the other woman's body during the attack and continued to scream the N-word while punching her. Benain was out of control, said Hoffmeyer, adding she continually yelled racial slurs at the deputies while they were attempting to get control of the situation. The 27-year-old victim later told deputies she didn't know what set Benain off or why she was attacked. But we can tell you why through the scriptures, that perpetual hatred. She said she was leaving the suburban Chicago banquet hall with her boyfriend when the suspect rushed over and proceeded to assault her while using the N-word. Things got so out of hand that the responding deputy had to request backup. Benain resisted arrest several times, the sheriff's office said, and punched a deputy before trying to make a run for it. Officials said she also knocked another deputy and repeatedly used racial slurs as police tried to restrain her. That's when one of the deputies deployed his taser, Hoffmeyer said. It sounds like the Most High put a spirit on this Edomite to come after that Jake woman. The victim, who's unnamed, suffered minor injuries in the assault and was treated at a local hospital. Meanwhile, Benain's boyfriend, 25-year-old Luxaz Harnick, was also arrested for trying to interfere with his lover's arrest. Authorities said Harnick refused deputies' commands to stay back and resisted handcuffs before police managed to arrest him. Both were booked in the Will County Adult Detention Facility on several charges, including disorderly conduct, resisting arrest, and multiple counts of battery on a law enforcement officer. According to online jail records, Benain was arraigned Monday and has since been released from jail. And that's the only thing you Jakes can expect in this society of Esau Edoms. They're going to get a lighter sentence or off the hook while they throw the book at you Jakes. And if you're lucky, don't put you to death. Now I'm going to go to my last article titled, Michigan Woman Accused of Slapping Israelite Car Salesman Using Racial Slurs is Cleared of Hate Crime Charges. A Michigan woman has escaped ethnic intimidation charges after physically attacking an Israelite car salesman and using a racial slur. Shelley Huckel, 47, was acquitted of the 2-year felony but found guilty of misdemeanor assault and battery against salesman Terrence Smith early last year, according to MLive. She was convicted during a December 30th bench trial. There's the devil right here. The attack unfolded April 24th when Huckel attempted to trade in her car at Baker GMC in Lowell, about an hour outside Lansing. Angered over what she was offered, the defendant struck Smith so hard that she knocked his glasses off his face. Huckel is also accused of using the N-word multiple times. The whole situation is so ridiculous in this day and time, dealing with what I am dealing with, Smith told MLive at the time, calling it a huge relief that Huckel was being charged with a hate crime. The case was tried by Kent County Circuit Judge Paul Sullivan, who ruled there was reasonable doubt Huckel, 47, had acted maliciously with intent to intimidate the used car salesman, saying the assault was sparked by the low trade-in offer rather than Smith's race. But we know otherwise. According to Smith, the woman became upset and demanded he get his scamming black ass back inside and get my title when he'd offered her $3,500 for her 2005 Ford F-150 pickup truck. Huckel claimed she'd been offered $5,500 at another dealership, while her husband said they could probably get about $5,100 at another. Smith said Huckel became angrier and tried to defuse the situation by walking away. The enraged woman followed him in his office, however, and backhanded him while repeating the racial slur, according to a Lowell police report. A fellow salesperson who witnessed the incident told authorities that the customer was arguing and Mr. Smith handed the title to her and she just started swinging on him. Mr. Smith backed away from her and went outside. When asked if she had assaulted Smith, Huckel accused the salesman of bumping her when she tried to snatch her title from him. These Edomites always lie to get Jake caught up. Just think about all those Jakes that were lynched in the past because they supposedly raped a white woman. On Monday, Sullivan described his decision as a close call, but said he was confident he'd made the right decision under the state's ethnic intimidation law. He didn't hold back in his rebuke of the local woman, however. Your stupid acts put people like me, like the prosecutor, police, the victim, in this position we are in today, Sullivan told Huckel, adding, "You ought to be ashamed of yourself." More crocodile tears. The judge's harsh words were of little consolation to Smith, who said he was more than disappointed with the ruling. "I did everything I knew to do right in the situation," like that, he told MLive. "That was to keep my hands to myself, stay as calm as possible, and do the right thing, and that's what I did." Huckel's sentencing is set for February. Again, you Jakes will never find peace in Esau society, as it says in Micah 2 verse 10, "Arise and awake, for this is not your rest." So we've got a few examples of that perpetual hatred that Esau still has for you Israelites. And on this website, I could get a whole lot more examples, but I don't want this video to be too long. So let's get into some precepts. And you Jakes can't say that we didn't warn you, because the men of the Lord have been out there for more than 30 years preaching that these Edomites hate you and that eventually they're going to lay your hands on you during a race war, but you're hard-headed and stiff-necked and won't hear this message until the very end when it's too late. This is Matthew 11 verse 16 through 17. "But whereunto shall I liken this generation?" Which is back here through the reincarnation. The same generation that said, "Give us Barabbas and let Yahushai," or so-called Jesus Christ's blood be on us and our children, are back here, and now you have to pay that blood debt. It is like unto children sitting in the markets and calling unto their fellows and saying, "We have piped unto you, and ye have not danced. We have mourned unto you, and ye have not lamented. And the men of the Lord have piped unto you and mourned unto you, warning of the times to come and what you need to do to be saved from these calamities. But again, you're hard-headed and stiff-necked and don't believe the prophets and scoff against the prophets and would rather put the prophets to death than these Edomites who are going to put you to death. This is Isaiah 30, verse 9 through 11, that this is a rebellious people, lying children, children that will not hear the law of Yahweh, which say to the seers, see not, and to the prophets, prophesy not unto us right things, what salvation is, what you need to do to get back into the good graces of your power, Yahweh Ba'ashim Yahushai, that you have enemies, and that you're not supposed to associate with them or this society, but say, speak unto us smooth things, prophesy deceits, like these false prophets, these pastors in these churches talking about prosperity doctrines and to love everybody, and that if you just work hard enough, you'll get your piece of the American pie. Get you out of the way, turn aside out of the path, cause the Holy One of Israel to cease from before us. We don't want to hear what you Bumalites got to say. Look at you. Y'all are just full of shit and angry and use the Bible to vent your frustrations because you don't have a job or a woman. Well, hey, very shortly you're going to see that a prophet had been among you when these things begin to come to pass. Now I'm going to close it out in Isaiah 13, verse 13 to 16. Therefore I will shake the heavens, and the earth shall remove out of her place in the wrath of Yahweh of hosts, and in the day of his fierce anger. And it shall be as the chased roe, and as a sheep that no man taketh up. They shall every man turn to his own people, and flee every one into his own land. These race wars, when these different nations are going to go back to their own communities and be tribal and protect their own. Everyone that is found shall be thrust through, and everyone that is joined unto them shall fall by the sword. You Israelite men that have heathen girlfriends or husbands, and you Israelite women who have heathen boyfriends or husbands, especially when it's an Edomite, you're going to get put to death. Their children also shall be dashed to pieces before their eyes. Their houses shall be spoiled, and their wives ravished. That good Edomite neighbor you have that you've had a barbecue with on every 4th of July is going to put your children to death, steal from your home, and ravish or rape your wife in front of you. So with this video, I hope you sincere Akim were edified. Just keep strong and keep pushing this word. We're almost out of this final wicked captivity of the heathens, chiefly Esau Edom, which has a perpetual hatred towards us. And as always, I'm going to say Abba Bol, Kwam Yasharala. Till next time, Shalom.